What if the key to living freely isn't seeking everyone's approval, but embracing the fact that some people may dislike you? What if your worth doesn't depend on how others see you? Hi, I'm from the Stoic Way channel, and today we're going to discuss learning to be comfortable with being disliked. In a world where social media and constant interactions make approval and validation seem essential, Stoicism teaches us that our value comes from within, not from how others perceive us. When we stop seeking everyone's approval, we free ourselves from the constant anxiety of being liked. Fear of being disliked can make us betray our values, over-explain ourselves, or behave in ways that don't align with our true selves. Stoicism offers a solution, teaching us that emotional independence from others' opinions is the key to living a peaceful and fulfilled life. By accepting that not everyone will like us, we can live authentically, without constantly seeking validation from others. In this video, we'll dive into Epictetus' quote, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish." We'll explore how Stoicism reframes being disliked, allowing us to focus on what truly matters, our internal peace, and living according to our values, not based on others' approval. Before we dive into the video, make sure to like, subscribe, and comment below. What's one area in your life where you feel the pressure to be liked? Let's get started. Let's reflect on this sharp, uncomfortable, and liberating line from Epictetus. If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish. Epictetus, this quote is basically a direct hit on one of the biggest hidden fears most people carry. What will they think of me? Epictetus is saying something radical. Real growth often looks wrong to people who don't understand your values. The moment you choose integrity, boundaries, discipline, or truth, someone will call you dramatic, selfish, weird, arrogant, or too much. And Stoicism reframes that completely. If you stop over-explaining, some will think you're rude. If you set boundaries, some will say you changed. If you improve your life, some will call you fake. If you walk away from approval seeking, some will dislike you, and that's the price of freedom. The Stoic point isn't to seek being disliked. It's to stop living as if being disliked is a disaster. We've just explored Epictetus' quote, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish." This powerful teaching touches on a crucial point of Stoic philosophy. Our worth and growth aren't defined by others' perceptions. In fact, if you want to live authentically, you need to be willing to risk being disliked. Let's break this down further and apply it to our everyday lives. Many of us spend a significant amount of time and energy trying to be liked by others, whether it's in personal relationships, at work, or even on social media. We over-explain, compromise our values, or put others' needs first in order to gain approval. But Epictetus teaches that true improvement requires independence from the opinions of others. Growth isn't always comfortable. It often means stepping into uncomfortable truths, setting boundaries, and doing things that may seem unconventional to the people around us. But that discomfort is the key to real freedom. When we stop living based on how others view us, we open the door to a life led by our values, our goals, and our purpose. Think about a time when you felt the pressure to be liked. Maybe it was trying to fit in at work or changing your behavior to please friends or family. How did it make you feel? Did it lead to genuine happiness or long-term fulfillment? Or did it leave you feeling empty, disconnected, or resentful? The Stoic approach is about embracing discomfort and letting go of the need to be liked. This doesn't mean being rude or rejecting everyone, but it does mean making peace with the fact that not everyone will agree with you or support your decisions. Once you free yourself from the need for a constant validation, you gain the power to make decisions based on what aligns with your true self, not on external approval. This teaching aligns with the Stoic principle of Emma 40, the love of fate. When we choose to live authentically, we embrace all the outcomes that come with that choice, including the possibility of disagreement, discomfort, or rejection. Stoicism teaches that the path to fulfillment is through accepting everything that comes with it, not by seeking the approval of others. Another essential Stoic principle that ties in here is self-reliance, the ability to find strength within yourself, independent of what others think or do. This principle teaches us that our happiness and value are rooted in our actions, not in external validation. Next time you feel the urge to seek approval, take a moment to pause and reflect. Why do you need this validation? Is it to align with your true self, or is it to fit in with others? Ask yourself, what would I do if I stopped worrying about what others think? For example, if you're working on a new project and don't feel appreciated, don't immediately seek reassurance. Instead, focus on doing your best work, setting boundaries, and staying true to your values. Even if no one notices, the moment you stop living for external approval, you start living for yourself, and that's where true peace and fulfillment lie. I once struggled with the pressure to be liked. At one point, I found myself over-explaining my actions and apologizing for my choices in order to gain approval. It was exhausting, and ultimately, it didn't bring me any closer to the fulfillment I was looking for. When I embraced the Stoic mindset, I realized that I didn't need everyone's approval. Once I started living according to my own values, I found peace, even if not everyone agreed with my choices. This mindset gave me the strength to make decisions that aligned with my values, even when it meant being misunderstood or disliked, and in doing so, I found greater freedom and happiness. Now, think about a situation in your life where you're seeking approval from others. What would happen if you stopped trying to please everyone and instead focused on living authentically? How can you start embracing discomfort and risking being disliked in order to stay true to your values? In today's society, fear of being disliked is one of the most powerful forces that shapes our behavior. We often betray our values, over-explain ourselves, or change our actions just to be accepted by others. However, Stoicism teaches us that true peace comes from being emotionally independent from external validation and approval. The Stoics remind us that our worth is determined by our actions and values, not by the opinions of others. The Stoic concept of emotional independence means not seeking validation from others or changing ourselves to meet someone else's expectations. Instead, we live according to our own principles, accepting that not everyone will approve of us, and that's okay. Our worth is intrinsic, and we can be at peace with who we are, even when others dislike or misunderstand us. The principle of accepting that we won't be liked by everyone is deeply embedded in Stoic philosophy. Epictetus, for example, taught that true freedom comes from detaching our sense of self-worth from the opinions of others. In his discourses, he wrote that we must focus on doing what's right rather than trying to meet others' expectations. Epictetus understood that seeking constant approval creates anxiety, and that the key to peace is acting with integrity, regardless of how others perceive us. Similarly, Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor, faced enormous pressure and criticism throughout his life. Despite this, he emphasized the importance of living according to one's values, not for the sake of others' opinions. In his meditations, he constantly reminded himself that the true measure of success is internal and that we should be content with who we are, regardless of external praise or rejection. At the heart of Stoicism is the idea that we have control over our own actions and choices, but we cannot control how others perceive us. When we seek approval, we give others the power to define our worth, and this leads to a cycle of constant anxiety and self-doubt. Stoicism, however, offers us a way out by focusing on internal validation, living according to our values, doing what's right, and accepting that not everyone will approve. We gain true freedom. The Stoic practice of emotional sovereignty teaches us that we're enough as we are. We don't need external validation to feel worthy. Our worth is not based on how others see us, but on how we choose to live each day with integrity. Think about a time when you felt the pressure to be liked. Maybe you changed your opinion to fit in, or over-explained yourself to avoid conflict. The Stoic way is to stop living for the approval of others. Instead, focus on your internal values and act in alignment with them, regardless of how others react. This means saying what you believe, doing what you feel is right, and being content with the fact that not everyone will agree with you. For example, if you're in a social group where everyone is critical of something you value, don't immediately change your views just to fit in. Instead, embrace the discomfort of being disliked and stand firm in your beliefs, knowing that your worth is not defined by others' opinions. When you stop seeking approval, you regain the freedom to live authentically, without compromise. The emotional freedom that comes from not relying on external validation has a profound impact on mental health. When we stop seeking approval, we reduce feelings of anxiety, stress, and insecurity. We stop living in fear of rejection and begin to feel more at peace with who we are. Stoicism teaches that true happiness comes from living with virtue, not from external praise or acceptance. By practicing emotional independence, we gain the strength to be our true selves, without fear of being disliked. This mindset frees us from the need to over-explain, over-justify, or seek reassurance. We are enough, just as we are. By embracing the Stoic mindset of being content with who we are, regardless of others' opinions, we free ourselves from the constant desire for approval. This freedom allows us to live authentically, make decisions aligned with our values, and maintain inner peace, no matter how others see us. Today, we explore the Stoic principle of learning to be comfortable with being disliked. We discussed how fear of rejection or seeking constant validation from others can cause unnecessary anxiety and stress. Stoicism teaches us that true peace comes from acting in alignment with our values and finding worth within ourselves, regardless of others' opinions. Marcus Aurelius' wisdom reminds us to be content with who we are, even if others may not appreciate us. So, how can you apply this Stoic principle in your daily life? The next time you feel the pressure to be liked or understood by others, remember that your worth is not determined by their approval. Instead, focus on your own values, do what's right, and embrace the possibility of being misunderstood. When you stop seeking validation, you free yourself from anxiety and start living authentically. Think of one situation where you can stop over-explaining or trying to please others. Instead, choose to act according to your own principles. The more you practice this, the more freedom and peace you will feel. Take a moment to reflect. Where in your life do you feel the pressure to be liked? How can you shift your focus from seeking approval to living according to your own values and integrity? Think about one small action you can take today to embrace this Stoic mindset and stop seeking external validation. If you found this video valuable, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more Stoic insights to help you live a more fulfilling, authentic life. Let me know in the comments, how have you learned to embrace being disliked? And what strategies do you use to stay true to yourself? To leave you with a final thought, remember the words of Epictetus. If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish. True growth comes from living according to our own values, regardless of how others see us. By embracing this mindset, we reclaim our peace and start living a life that's authentic, fulfilling, and free from the need for external validation.